Hey everyone, it is Reverend Averhart or Tia DeShay, and this is the 2023 Mirrored Moment message. It is Saturday, December 31st, 2022, and it is now, it is now 2:21 p.m. I am Tia DeShay. I write now so others can remember later. I produce purpose from chaos. I am a spiritual teacher for social, generational, and personal change. It is my intention to fulfill the scriptural mandate of Jeremiah 1:9. Then the Lord reached out his hand and touched my mouth and said to me, I have put my words in your mouth, in Revelation 10:11. Then I was told, you must prophesy again about many peoples, nations, languages, and kings. It is my prayer for Matthew, the 13th chapter, and the 35th verse to unfold in my life, ministry, and practice. So was fulfilled and was spoken through the prophet. I will open my mouth in parables. I will utter things hidden since the creation of the world. Once again, I am Tia DeShay or Reverend Averhart, and this is your 2023 Mirror Moment message. Today is Saturday, December 31st, 2022, and it is now 2:22 p.m. All right. So our key themes for this year is truth, social circles, the number 7, elevation, initiation, and expansion. So let me get right into this. Truth. What I mean by truth, the messages that I received about truth is first, before I get started, whether or not you adhere to the belief, well, if you do not adhere to the belief that the new year technically doesn't begin on January 1st, your ancestors believe that. So if you have an ancestor altar, or if you acknowledge and pay homage and give reverence to your ancestors, you need to honor and show reverence to what they adhered to when they were alive. So today, take your spiritual bath. If you need to clean up, clean up. Clean off the altar, give them offerings, burn ancestor money, pray, ask for their guidance and direction for about the new year. Because remember, you're honoring your ancestors for what they did, what the beliefs that they adhered to when they were alive. As they are elevating and going through their evolution on the other side, if they come back again, then they'll be enlightened how you are now. But until then, you are to honor and adhere to the customs and traditions that they adhered to when they were here. As long as it's not something that's hurting someone. So keep that in mind for today, because I understand the concept of, like, technically the new year cannot begin rather in the middle of winter. But it's about getting out of your ego and honoring your ancestors and doing what they did when they were alive, because you want them to continue to help you and to protect you, and you don't want to sever the relationship between you and your ancestors because of some newfound knowledge that you've learned. Remember, they weren't there when they weren't where you are now when they were alive on this planet. So honor where they were and show respect and reverence. And I'll go more into that as I give you the messages that I received, but I wanted to begin with that. So let's talk about truth. In 2023, truth, no longer are we going to be able to live life under a rock. We will all be faced with hard truths, especially if we've been running away from them because we don't want to deal with change, or we don't want to be uncomfortable. Well, in 2023, that it's not going to be an option anymore. You're going to deal with the hard truths. You're going to be told the truth. Everybody is in some way, shape, or form are going to be told the truth. People are not going to just pity, play pity pat with you and walk on eggshells with you. You will be given the hard, unadulterated truth. But this truth, whether you choose to accept it or not, is really protection is coming in the form of that truth. So yes, you may feel offended, your feelings may be hurt for a minute, briefly for a moment, but that truth, the truth is coming with protection, elevation, and growth. If you adhere to the truth, if you receive the truth, and if you accept the truth, you will be protected. But the minute you start denying the truth, you become resistant to the truth, then what you are essentially doing is saying, I don't want to be protected. I want to be left vulnerable for all types of attacks. So the truth, it's going to be in your face in 2023. And also, as far as being exposed, you're going to start seeing more exposure in 2023. You're going to see more of the truth of the matter. People are not going to be able to hide behind money and fame and fortune and titles. The truth will come out. The truth will be exposed. You'll see if people are, I'm hearing the word charlatans. You'll find out that people are charlatans. They aren't really who they say they are. They have been selling snake oil. They are just not who they say they are. So the truth will be exposed about people. And yes, it will hurt your feelings, but the key is not to have your emotions attached to this revelation of truth. To take it, learn from it, accept it so that you will be protected. But this will be a year of truth. Like, it's no more holds barred anymore. No one cares about cancel culture. No one cares about if you're threatening lawsuits. No one cares about that anymore. No one cares about being politically correct, because it has gotten people that attitude of political correctness, that attitude of cancel culture, and people being extra sensitive. What has happened, it has gotten people stuck, and they're not able to move and grow and elevate because they're all in their feelings and they want to have the pity party, and now they have depression and anxiety and mental health. And I'm here to tell you too, and this is not to downplay legit mental health issues, but that's going out the window. No longer will people be able to, say mental health, mental health, mental health, because what's happening is that people are using that as a crutch. They're using that as an excuse to not take accountability. And I am not talking about legit cases of mental health. Those who have ears listening to this message will understand what I'm saying. This is truth. And people may not like it, and it may make them uncomfortable, but oh well, this is truth. A lot of the talk and the language and the conversation of mental health is starting to become a crutch. Oh, I have anxiety, and oh, I just having panic attacks, and I'm just having a hard time socializing. And people are using this as an excuse, as not to grow, as not to be held accountable for their behavior. And that's not going to work anymore. It's not going to work. The truth of the matter is, you just don't want to take accountability, and you're milking the society's perception of mental health. You're milking it for all you can milk it for. So so you don't have to be held accountable for your actions and to take responsibility and accountability for your actions and your choices and your decisions. So to let you know that mental health phenomenon or tagline or just crutch is not going to fly in 2023. You're going to have to look at the truth of the matter. Is it really mental health? Are you really socially awkward? Are you really suffering from depression? Or you're just using that as an excuse for a pity party, for people to take pity on you and to feel sorry for you, and for you to get out of doing the things that you need to do to evolve and grow. Okay? So truth is a big thing in 2023. Truth. Whether you want to hear it or not, it's going to be spoken, it's going to be told to you, and it's up to you how you receive it. But with that truth is going to come protection. So if you reject that truth, you're rejecting protection. So you're basically leaving yourself open and vulnerable to whatever life is going to throw your way. Also, this is more specific to a location. A lot of times my messages are tailored specific to the area in which I live. I was born and raised in Detroit, Michigan, and I currently live in Detroit, Michigan. I've lived in other states, but I currently live in Detroit, Michigan now. And this message is specifically tailored for people who live in Detroit, Michigan. And if you're listening and you're from Detroit, Michigan, you're going to know what I'm talking about. Here in Detroit, Michigan, with our utility companies, our water company and our electric company, you can get on payment plans. And basically the payment plan is you just pay a certain amount every month. You just pay that amount. So let's say, for instance, it's $40. So every month you pay $40. Regardless of what your bill is for the month, you just pay $40. That's your payment plan. But that's the terms and agreement of your payment plan. You're going to pay $40 every month. And if you are late on your payment, then the water company or the electric company will require you to pay your balance in full, or they're going to shut off your utilities. So mind you, you could be paying $40 a month, but it does not stop your bill from growing. So if your bill, say for instance, your light bill is $200 this month, it's still going to be $200, but you're only paying $40 because that's the amount that you agreed upon for your payment plan. Well, I had a dream last night that was going to end for the water company and for the light company, that was going to end. And it went back to truth. The fact of the matter is that it's not forcing people or allowing people to live in their truth. You're just letting them live in an illusion. I can run the water as much as I want. I can keep, I can keep the heat up as high as I want. And in the gas is just, the gas bill and the light bill is just getting higher and higher, and not be accountable and not learn how to save and not learn how to allocate my resources. I'm just being abusive with the resources and just using them up, to the extreme, because it doesn't matter how high the bill gets. All I got to do is pay $40 a month. It's teaching people to be wasteful. And in my dream, it was like the companies, the light company and the water company, cannot afford to keep allowing people to be on this payment plan because they're losing money. It's not benefiting them anymore, any longer, to keep these people on a payment plan. And in the dream, it was like the payment plan was cut off. And it was just like thousands and thousands of people in Detroit and in Michigan who now had to come up with this money to pay these bills or get cut off, or their utilities were cut off. And it was nothing that they could do about it, because the utility companies could no longer afford to keep footing that bill. And it was about truth. It was truth on the utility companies, saying, like, the fact of the matter is, you're not living in truth. You're not living in integrity. Like, you're really losing out. You're providing a service, and it is to make money, and you're not making money because you're allowing these people to just be wasteful with resources and just leech off the system, because it's repetitive. The people that are on these payment plans have been on these payment plans for years. We're not talking about, somebody who ran into a challenge, an obstacle, and they had to utilize this service for a minute, for a brief amount of time. We're talking about people who are using this service, these payment plans, for years, and racking up, bills that are like $5,000, water bills, $5,000 light bills, probably even more than that. And in the dream, it was like, no, this can no longer continue, because now you are ravaging resources. You're abusing resources, knowing that you're not going to do anything to change your situation and pay for the resources that you've been using in the form of water and heat and electricity. And so somewhere along the line, the universe has to balance that out, and can no longer allow you to keep living out of alignment and living in an imbalanced state. So in the dream, that's over with. That's what I heard in the dream for 2023. Now, that's more tailored specific for a certain geographic area. All right, the next one is social circles. I cannot get away from the fact of letting people know that it's better for you to be alone than to be hanging out with friends. Even if you are in a relationship, the relationship needs to end, because these people don't mean you any good. A lot of them only pretend to support you or be a part of your soul tribe, because they feel as if you're in the same position as them. You're not better than them. Y'all on the same level, or they could be doing better than you. So that's the only reason they're supporting you. But the minute you elevate and put yourself in a position where they see you as better than them or doing better than them, they will not support you. They'll stop calling. They won't have too much to say to you. All of a sudden, they don't have anything in common with you. They are only supporting you because they feel like you're in the same situation as they are, or they are doing better than you. They are not there to support you unconditionally or from a genuine place. It's about, what can I get from you? I realize that me being in your presence, your energy benefits me. It helps me out a whole lot. They are jealous of you. They are envious of you. They really don't like you. But they are pretending because it makes them feel good that you aren't doing better than them, or they are doing better than you, or being in your presence benefits them. You're going to see truth in your social circles if you have not already seen it and experienced it. You're going to see it. I mean, it's going to smack you in your face. They are not your friends, sis. They are not your friends, bro. They don't like you. They are using you. And stop putting your stuff on social media. I'm hearing that for some of you, you need to get off social media, or you need to use your social media strictly for business purposes only and not putting anything personal on there, because they are getting too much information about you through your personal posts that some people are disguising through spirituality, but you're really telling all your business and they're using that to their advantage. Stop it, sis. Stop it, bro. They don't like you. And it's best for you to be alone and stop going out finding friends and let them come to you. All right, the number 7, 2023 is a 7-year. If you add the digits, the numbers 2 plus 2 plus 3, you're going to get 7. If you add 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 3, you get the number 7. So 2023 will vibrate off a 7 energy. Okay? And 7, I took some notes to share with you about 7. 7 is a number of spirituality. So in 2023, spirituality will be on the forefront. You'll probably see a rise in people going back to church, people embracing spirituality, whatever it is, however they're led to embrace spirituality. You're going to see an increase in that in 2023. People will really start taking that serious. I actually wrote that down. I'm going to read it. That in 2023, there will be, that spiritual workers need to be prepared for quote unquote born again type of clientele, wanting a reset and to be forgiven by God. You're going to see a lot of religious conversions, realizing how mean and evil they have been behaving, and then they want to make things right. So you'll see a lot of coming to Jesus, quote unquote, type of behavior. That truth comes back in. You know, they'll be hit with a hard truth and realize, oh, how short life is, and oh, how I need to get back right with God, and a lot of that will take place in 2023. People having the doors of the church are open type of experiences, altar calls, just wanting to be right with God, because life is going to hit them hard. Life, because 2023 is about the spirit. It's about the spirit. The spirit needs to be elevated and cleansed and purified. And it's going to be a lot of events and situations that are going to rock people's spirit, that they're not going to be able to hide behind the clothes and the lashes and the nails and the jewelry and the car and the houses and all the material things like they did this year, because 2022 was a 6-year about materialism, and people were able to hide behind all of that. And in 2023, you won't be able to hide behind materialism, because your spirit is going to be forefront and center. Your spirit is going to be seen by people before you even open your mouth. And there's a lot of people who are going to have that experience of, I need to get my life right before God. A lot of salvation type experiences. You know, I need salvation. I need to get right with God. I need to go to church. You know, I need to start praying more. I need to stop being so mean. Like, you're going to get a lot of that in 2023, because it's going to vibrate off the number 7. There will be a lot of wanting to lay your burdens down energy in 2023. take a load off. People want to start over, like a come to the altar moment or experience. They're really, because their spirit, they're going to realize, I'm telling you, it's going to be so many experiences and events in people's lives, not only in their personal life, but worldwide, in society in general, where people are going to be forced to ask the question, what is going to happen to me after I die? Am I living my life right? Is there a God? Is there a higher being? What's my purpose? Am I living my best life? Am I treating people kind? Be prepared for people to really have these experiences, crying, people who quote unquote did you wrong, coming back wanting to apologize because now they know the Lord, or whatever spiritual path they want to embrace. You're going to see a lot of that in 2023. Completeness and perfection. God is going to perfect that in your life, be it good or bad. You've had all this time to get things right. So whatever it is that you've done up until the 7th year, it will be perfected and it will be completed. And you will have to live with it for the next 7 years. So if you wasted these past 7 years just partying and drinking and smoking and worried about what Boo and Bay is doing and causing drama and gossiping and not doing anything productive, working on yourself, maybe going back to school, picking up a trade, reading a book, just working on improving your thought process, your life in general, your finances, wherever you are, it will be perfected and completed in 2023. So whatever cycle you're in currently in 2023, it will be perfected. It will be complete. And you're going to have to live with the consequences and the decisions of that cycle or for the next 7 years. And hopefully in the next 7 years, you'll do something different. So when it's time for completion and perfection, you'll be at a better place. But I'm telling you, in 2023, it will be completed. It will be perfected. Whatever you have done is, so we're in 2023, correct? So whatever you have done, so we're in 2023. So whatever you have done in the past 7 years, and I'm going to show you why this is significant in a minute. So since 2016 until 2023, whatever you have done in that time frame, in 2023 is going to be completed and perfected. And you're going to have to live with that for the next 7 years. So if you don't like what you did or in that time frame, you're gonna, then the next 7 years, we're talking about 7 years from 2023, so that'll be 2030. So whatever is completed and perfected in this year, 2023, and you don't like it, well, now you're going to have 7 years from 2023 to change it. But you're going to have to live with it. You're going to see the consequences of those decisions that you made in the past 7 years, because it's going to be completed and perfected. What you didn't realize, what no one told you, was that in these past 7 years, you were creating. Just like in the book of Genesis, you were creating. And now 2023 is the seventh day. And you're really supposed to be resting. 2023 is a 7 year. And in the Bible, when God, in the creation account in the Bible, on the seventh day, God rested. So if you were doing what you were supposed to do in these past 7 years, 2023 is really supposed to be a year of rest and rejuvenation and restoration, because you did what you were supposed to do. 2023 really is supposed to be a Sabbath, a year of Sabbath, of rest, rejuvenation, looking back on the past 7 years and proud of what you accomplished and the work that you did on yourself and for your family and for society. But if you have not done any of what I just said, then you're just in for a lot of work, hard work, and toil, because you're not going to be able to rest. Well, you will. Correct. I'm hearing you will rest. You're going to rest in your dysfunction. You're going to have to rest in your toil. You're going to have to rest in your drama. That's where you're going to find rest at, because that's what you created for this seventh year, the seventh year of the Sabbath. Well, what I mean by that is that in 2023, it's a Sabbath year, a year of rest, just like in the Bible, when God created, when He created all of the things on the earth, on the seventh day, He rested. So you will rest. Everybody will have a year of rest, and I don't mean it in the way of physically you do nothing, but it will be a year or a season of where you won't have to, if you have done the work, you won't have to work as hard. You're going to see your harvest. You're going to see the results of all of the things that you did, all the sacrifices that you made in the past 7 years. So things will come much more easier for you in 2023. But those of you who didn't do, you just, was just living your life from a carnal point of view, from your flesh. Everything was driven by your ego and your flesh. You will rest, but you will rest in toil. You will rest in drama. You will rest in sickness. That's where you'll find your rest at. Your place of inactivity will be in those things. And I'm not saying that you're just going to stop and not work, or not, I won't say, or not work or not produce, but you won't have to do it as hard as you've been doing it in the past 7 years. But for everyone else, it's going to be hard, all right, because you did work, you did produce, but you produced seeds of discord, seeds of chaos, seeds of drama, seeds of debt, seeds of denial, seeds of dishonesty. And so that's what you're going to have to rest in. That's what you're going to have to find comfort in. That's what you're going to have to take shelter in. And then you'll have the next 7 years, hopefully, to do something different. All right. The number 7 also represents eternal life. For me, what I'm getting from that is that a lot of the things that you do, scratch that, all of what you do, particularly in 2023, will have an eternal effect. It will affect, the waves, it will reverberate eternally. So be mindful of what you do, what you create, what you say, what you produce in 2023, because it will have an eternal effect. It will affect you, and everybody in your bloodline for eternity. And it will, for those of you who have metaphysical practitioners and healers and shamans and oracles and priests and priestesses in your bloodline, they're going to have to work I mean, for eternity, your bloodline will have to deal with the effects of what you do in 2023. So be mindful of that. And speaking of that, oh well, I'll get to that. Also, I already said rest, that the number 7 is symbolic of rest. The number 7 is also symbolic of exoneration and healing in the Bible. In the Bible, it talks about how it was mandatory that every 7 years the Israelites had to forgive people of their debts. Like everybody's debt had to be forgiven every 7 years. And they had to free their slaves every 7 years. So when every 7 year cycle, everybody's debt was forgiven and slaves were set free. So you can expect that in 2023. You might hear news, or you will hear news stories of people being exonerated, set free from prison, or their sentences being commuted. They don't serve the full sentence. Even maybe someone in your family will be exonerated. You're gonna hear a lot of stories of people being exonerated for crimes that they didn't commit. People even being exonerated from debts, both physical debts, monetary debts, karmic debts. And if it's karmic debts, if you're exonerated and cleared of any type of debt, do not waste that moment and opportunity, because you're being exonerated from a debt and then you turn right back around and accumulate more debt. So be mindful of that. Healing, there will be miraculous healings that take place in 2023. Relationships will be healed, past relationships, you can expect that. And no one's saying that you got to be buddy with these people. Now, some of the relationships that are healed, you'll be able to do that. You'll be able to come back and bond again and develop that relationship and build again. But there will be healing, not only physical healing, but emotional healing, spiritual healing, mental healing. There will be healing in 2023. There will be fulfillment of promises and oaths. Now, when I saw this, it goes both ways. Be careful what you say. Be careful what you tell somebody you're going to do for them, because you will be required to fulfill that promise and oath. You're not going to get out of it. And if you don't, there will be consequences and repercussions of the worst kind. If you've been, entertaining certain spirits and certain energies and entities in order for, using them and petitioning them and summoning them to do work for you, supernatural work and spiritual work, you will pay. They will want their payment. They will want fulfillment of the promises and oaths that you said that you were going to do for them, because they did some work on your behalf. Be mindful of what you say in 2023. Be mindful, be slow to speak, and be real slow to committing to things. Think twice, because you are going to be required to fulfill that promise and that oath. Promises and oaths also come in the form of, I'm hearing bills, payment. You're going to be required to fulfill that oath and payment, or there's going to be consequences and repercussions. If you owe restitution, if anything, you're going to be required to fulfill that payment and oath in 2023. If you have a warrant for your arrest, that's a promise, that's an oath. That's going to be fulfilled in 2023. So be mindful of that. We already talked about creation. Be mindful. Every 7 days, start being intentional. You're going to be creating. Look at what you're creating. Pay attention, because 2023 is the year of creation. Pay attention. What have you created? What have you created? Be mindful of that. It's going to be a heightened sense of intuition, mysticism, inner knowing, spiritual wisdom. People are not going to be concerned with the material. If you are already walking in your spiritual gifts and your purpose, it's going to be heightened. Your gifts going to be off the chain in 2023. Spiritual encounters is just going to be off the chain in 2023. You just going to know things. You just going to know that you know that you know. That's going to be off the chain. Telepathy, being able to speak without uttering a word, that's going to increase. Just energetic exchanges and encounters is going to increase in 2023. 2023, do not be surprised if you hear more reports of alien encounters, UFO sightings, spiritual, just things that cannot be explained, spiritual encounters. A lot of that will be heightened in 2023 because it's going to vibrate off the number 7. You're going to, like I said, your spirituality is going to be called into play in 2023. If you've been faking the funk and you able to, like I said, charlatans on social media, spiritual plagiarists, you've been able to steal other people's opinions or messages or downloads or gifts and pass them off as your own, you're going to be caught on the carpet in 2023 because your life is not going to bear fruit. What you're posting on social media, your life is not going to align with that, and people are going to see you for who you really are. You're going to see whether people really are about that spiritual life in 2023. I made a post on my Facebook page, and I was just like, in 2023, I don't want to hear the terms divine feminine, divine masculine, karmic, shadow work, soul tribe, even Mercury retrograde. I'm just so over those things, new moon intentions and full moon. Like, I'm over it because it's become so commercialized and so like faddish. Like, I want to leave those terms and phrases in 2022. I don't want to hear them anymore. And that goes back to truth and to spirit. Like, we got to elevate. We have to elevate. It's time for us to be priests and priestesses. The gods and goddesses is, that level is over. We are to be priests and priestesses. That's what we should be. The level that we should be operating on is priests and priestesses and medicine women and medicine men and healers and midwives and oracles and sibyls and prophet and prophetesses. Those are the terms we need to be using for ourselves. We already know that we are gods and goddesses. We already know that we are thought of God. We already know that we are God's thought walking around, breathing in this earth. We know that. It's time to elevate. And that's getting to the next point. Elevation, initiation, and expansion. Walk into your priestly duties. Your priestess's duties. Like, all of these terms that, are just social media terms and TikTok terms and baby witches and all of this beginner stuff. We should be beyond the beginner stuff. And in 2023, we're beyond the beginner, intermediate, elementary foundation level when it comes to spirituality. We are now elevating. Initiation, and I'm not necessarily saying that you go get initiated into a certain practice like voodoo and Santeria, or Risha. And if you are led to that, then that's fine. But we all should be, especially if we're calling ourselves spiritual workers, we should all be experiencing some initiations, whether it's a formal initiation or it's initiation done in the spirit. really the tarot card readings is really, that's basic. We really got to get beyond that, doing tarot card readings for astrological signs. Like, it's time to elevate, people. We need to elevate. We should be beyond that. That's getting played out. It's becoming inundated on social media, on YouTube. It's like we really need to elevate. Pick a card, readings. Like, it's time to elevate. Nothing wrong with that if that's what you're called to do, but it's starting to become, people are becoming comfortable with that, and it's starting to lose its value. It's starting to lose its validity, and it's becoming commercialized and just it's becoming trite. It's not holding its value that it should hold, because everyone should consult an oracle. Everyone should consult an oracle. I don't care if it's through reading cowrie shells. I don't care if it's through reading bones. I don't care if it's tarot cards, oracle cards. If you're throwing charms. I don't care if you're scrying in water or in a mirror. However you divine, we need oracles. We need oracles. Everybody should have an oracle in their life that they consult, whether it's I Ching, whether it's throwing dice. That is important. But it's becoming so commercialized. It's becoming so compartmentalized. We got to expand beyond doing reading every week for astrological signs and moon signs. It has to get deeper. That's the word. I mean, deeper, deeper, deeper. We got to take the limits off of how we are going to divine and be oracles. And in 2023, we're going to be challenged with that. We got to go deeper into this thing. The revelation and knowledge that's awaiting us in 2023 can only be revealed to us when we're willing to take the limits and the fad, the trend off of these gifts. All right, an expansion, like I said it all of that I cover elevation, initiation, and expansion. We have to expand more into our gifts. We have to expand more. If you're called to this work, you got to be able to offer people more than the trends, than the Reiki, than, like I said, the tarot, the oracle cards. That is all fine, but we got to expand it. We have to expand it. We got to go deeper than just it being a trend. And that may require you having to go back to school and get training. That's where the initiation comes in, because going to school and getting training and sitting under a mentor, or I think in the Orisha it's called the Babala, that's important. As long as you're on the spiritual path, you should be initiated. You should be experiencing initiation, whether it's formal or informal. You should have a spiritual mentor who's constantly giving you more information and knowledge. It does not end. It does not stop. If you began your spiritual awakening with crystals and sage and tarot cards, you still should not be at that spot. You still should not be just still doing tarot cards and sage and crystals, and that's just where you at, and you haven't grown. You should have expanded that. You should have expanded your use and knowledge of crystals. You should have expanded your use and knowledge of tarot and oracle cards. You should have expanded your use and knowledge of sage and smudging. If you are still doing what you were doing when you first began your spiritual walk, then it's time to question whether or not you're really serious about this path and this journey. Because I remember I started with oracle cards, and I'm far beyond that now. I still use those tools, but I'm not stuck there. I have added so many tools, metaphysical tools and resources and spiritual tools to my craft and to my practice and to my repertoire that it blows my mind. You should not still be where you were when you first started this path. You should have a deeper understanding of everything that you do now. I'm even changing my language. I don't do spells. I do workings. That spells is it's for people in certain practices. That spells is a word or a term native to certain spiritual practices. But in my culture, it's not called spells. In Hoodoo, it's called workings. I do workings. So I'm even learning to change my language and how I refer to my work and my practice and my craft. 2023 is going to bring that out of you. If you're really serious about this spirituality, it's going to bring that out of you. I've covered everything that I was supposed to tell you about 2023. You could come back and listen to this as many times as you want. Take notes. It's going to be up on YouTube for forever. So you can always come back and validate and fact check the things that I mentioned here in this video about what to expect, what to look for in 2023. Also, there are going to be a lot of people called to the ministry. If you know, in the context of the Christian faith or Jewish faith or Catholicism, you're going to see a lot of people like leaving behind the material world and going on this spiritual journey. It's like in my head, I can see the Eight of Cups. It's going to be like an Eight of Cups experience. The Eight of Cups in tarot. It's going to be that type of experience where they want more. It's like going on a journey of spiritual enlightenment. You're going to see a lot of that in 2023. Like people will be leaving quote unquote good jobs, a good life, and go on spiritual journeys, spiritual pilgrimages, wanting to convert to a certain religious practice, wanting to be closer to God, and letting go and releasing and surrendering the whole of materialism on their life. You're going to see a lot of that in 2023. Embracing their spiritual path and their spirituality and being very bold with it, and unapologetic with it, and really embracing it and using it for the highest and greatest good of all involved and for this world and for this society. Also, there is a mantra that I listen to. It's called Take Up Space, Sis. The artist's name is on YouTube. And the artist's name is Tony Jones. And it's called Take Up Spaces. It's like an affirmation mantra type of music that she creates. It's like spoken word affirmation type of music. That's the type of music or art that Tony Jones creates, and it's called Take Up Spaces. And I'm to tell you this before I end this message, that for those of us who are truly called, who have truly been initiated into this work, and remember, don't get hung up on the word initiated like like you got to do some formal training or education or study. For some people, it may be, you may be called to do that, but you're going to see a lot of that too in 2023. A lot of initiation, whether it's self-initiation. And what I mean by self is that you're not going through a formal set of systems and practices and protocols, or you will do some formal initiation. You're going to see a lot of that in 2023. You're going to see a lot of name changes, and I mean like spiritually. You'll see people with more, like reverend or pastor or bishop or priestess or priest. You're going to see a lot of that in 2023. But take up spaces. Go listen to that affirmation on YouTube. It's Tony Jones. And what I want to say with that is, for those of us who are called to this work, we have been initiated in this work through our ancestors, in our dreams, however you were initiated. We need to start taking up space. The reason why the world is the way it is because people like us who have truly been called to this work are not taking up space. We're allowing these lower level vibrational energies to take up space. Take up spaces. And that's a word for myself. Take up space. Fill the whole room up with your energy and don't apologize for it. Take up space, because we're allowing these no good, do nothing people to take up space, and then yet we complain about what's going on in the world, or we're using so much of our energy, our magical energy, our working to help clear our paths and to keep our paths clear and to keep the energy clear around us, because we won't take up space. These lower vibrational people, these knuckleheads, they are proudly taking up space and allowing their energy to run amok. And they're not asking for permission. So those of us who are the light, who are powerful, take up space and tell these lower vibrational people where they can go and where they can stay. But we need to start taking up space, because that's what's going to change the environment and the world around us. Take up space. It's enough energy and light in you to take up space, and you won't feel depleted. And if you aren't at that level yet, increase your spiritual bathing, increase your salt baths, increase listening to mantras and frequencies that raise your vibration and fill your body with light. I took a course with Iyanla Vanzant, and I think it was in 2021, and she gave us light meditations to help keep your body filled with light. And I learned through her course that a lot of our diseases, actually all of our diseases, come from us not having enough light in our body. That's what I mean by expansion and elevation. People are still talking about diet, that the reason why, you're experiencing disease in your body is through diet. Yes, that's a factor, but we need to elevate. It's because we have too much darkness in our body. We don't have enough light. We are light beings that technically we can survive without food and just survive on light. We are light bodies. So listen to mantras that fill your body up with light, and start taking up space with your light. Don't continue to let these beings of darkness take up space, because now we got to use our power to get them out the way so we can do what we need to do. That's too much misdirected and misfocused energy. Build up your light body. In 2023, make it an intention to build up the light in your body. Like I said, listen to mantras, listen to frequencies that increase the light in your body, and you'll see how different you feel. Take up space. Take up space. 2023 is a year to take up space. Take up space. So we can, those of us who are called to do this work, we can stand in our authority and in our power and stop allowing these low-level vibrational beings and entities to run amok. We have the power. We have the ability to bless or curse. Because once you start this work, and I learned this listening to a practitioner on YouTube, his name is Ariel Gartoga. And he said, once you're really serious in this work, there's only two things that you're doing. When you're really serious about this path and you have embraced every aspect of this spiritual work and this spiritual path, it's only two things you're doing. You're either blessing or you're cursing. That's how powerful we are. We either are blessing or we're cursing. There's no in between. So when we walk into a space and we're taking up that space, we're either blessing it or we're cursing it. It's time to walk in our power. And we either need to bless a space or sometimes we need to curse a space. But that's up for you, or up to you to decide how your energy is supposed to be dispensed in that place. You have to know that. But we need to take up space and stop letting all of these energies and entities that only mean to create havoc and chaos and discord. We got to stop letting them take up space. We, the light beings, the light workers, the priests, the priestesses, the prophetesses, the sibyls, the oracles, the sages, the mediums, we need to take up space because the world needs it. They don't need no more of all of this lower vibrational stuff taking up space. We need more light in the world. So this has been Tia DeShay. This has been the Mirrored Moment message. This is Tia DeShay. This is Tia DeShay. And I'm going to repeat that because I noticed that as I was speaking, the computer froze. So let me repeat it. If you got to listen to it twice, then it's a reason why you got to listen to it twice. But I don't know where it cut off what I was saying on the previous slide. But we need to take up space. We are not to allow these lower vibrational beings to continue to take up space. We are powerful. And a YouTuber that I subscribe to, his name is Ariel Gartoga. And he said that once you begin this walk and once you embrace the spiritual work that you were called to do, you're only doing one of two things. You're either blessing or you're cursing. That's it. For those of us who do what we do in the spiritual work, we're either blessing or we're cursing. There's no in between. And when you embrace that and understand the power behind that, you move differently. You move with more intention. You know that when you come into a space that you're either blessing it or you're cursing it. And only you know how you're supposed to dispense your energy. Only you know that. Only you know whether you're supposed to come into this space to bless it or curse it. Because he says this quote all the time. A witch that cannot curse cannot heal. And in 2023, people that do the work that we do, that are the shamans, the oracles, the sibyls, the prophets, the prophetesses, the priests, the priestesses, the medicine man, the medicine woman, the doulas, the people that do this type of work, we're going to understand and embrace and operate with integrity both sides of the coin. We're going to know how to bless and how to curse, and how to use with and know how to use either one depending on the situation. But that's what 2023 is going to bring us. But we got to take up space. We are light beings. We can literally survive off of just light and live. Eventually, generations from now will become so advanced that they will be able to do that. So build up the light in your body. The reason why there is disease is because there is darkness in your body. I learned that when I took a course with Iyanla Van Zant, and we used to do light meditations to fill the body with light. Yes, diet plays a role in that, but when you elevate and when you become initiated and you learn more knowledge and wisdom, you realize that the real key or the real cause to dis-ease in the body is because you lack light. That is the reason for the discord and chaos in your body, is that you lack light. Listen to mantras, listen to music that raises the light in your body. And as you raise the light in your body, you can dispense your light, you can take up space, and you won't feel depleted. That is our charge for 2023. We're going to take up space and stop letting these lower level entities take up space. If we have really been doing the work, if we are really elevating and initiating ourselves and our practices, we should be able to take up space. We should be able to rule with authority and wisdom and knowledge. And we should be able to do the things that we were called to do. We're using too much of our energy to dispel the negative energy first, to clear the paths so that we can do our work, so our work can be effective. We're using too much of our energy to do that, to clear out the negative energy first. And that's because we're not taking up space. So this has been the 2023 Mirrored Moment Messages with Tia DeShay. I am Tia DeShay. Remember to pay attention to what you don't see, because what you don't see will help you make sense of what you are seeing. This video will be up for the entire year. You can come back to it to fact check, to validate, to see how the messages that I've given you have come to pass in some way, shape, or form. And for the first time, I'm going to actually leave the comments open. I usually don't leave the comments open on my videos because I'm just here to deliver the message, and I'm not here to really interact. It's just to give you the message, and you are to integrate it into your life and into your being the way that you see fit. But the comments will be left open for this particular video, because I want share with people how these messages have impacted your life for 2023, and how you plan to implement these messages, if it resonated with you, if it speaks to you, or even if you've been receiving the same messages. Share with other people, because we got to take up space. It's time for us to take up space and share, take up space in the comments, and it's time for us to be the light workers and the light beings that we are. So until next time, stay blessed and stay aware. Also, my resources and tools are on the screen. You can go to my website to utilize any of my services. Also, download my app, Mirror Moments app, on iOS and Android. I'm getting ready to record a message that's specific only for that app, for the people who have the app, who have purchased the app. I'm getting ready to record a 2023 message that is only uh, for the app. It's tailor specific for the app. So if you don't have the app, go ahead and download the app. And until next time, stay blessed and stay aware.